circle up after a disappointing but not unsurprising loss. I'll get into why I think that. It might be surprising to people listening to you guys on the call, but a disappointing but not unsurprising loss in my opinion. A game where the Tigers didn't really look interested at all in playing until the last 4 minutes. And boy, was it a rough one. And it looked like Oklahoma really cared, and it looked like none of the Missouri players really knew what to do with their hands or their bodies. And all we can do is say thank you that they've done enough already to basically be in the tournament, as long as they don't completely poop down their leg against Arkansas and then the tournament. That could happen, of course. But I was saying this to Curtis before we started. If there's anything this team has taught us this year, you can never, ever declare a certainty about them. You will declare them dead and they will win the most insane game. You will declare that they are ready to win and not lose anymore, and they will lose the most insane game they can. They will, one game, look like they have figured it completely out and it's all clicking, and the next game, Stone will shoot 14 times and make 4 shots. It is a mantra we have said throughout the year, which is they are a bubble team. They are an above average team, and above average teams will have games they look amazing and games where they look bad. Really good teams don't ever really look bad. So you're hoping to get to the tournament, and you're hoping basically to hit a good streak, to not roll a 7, to for the dealer to keep flipping some bus cards, and you're going to see how far you go. I don't think any of us have some belief they're going to like win the tournament, but the fact of the matter is that you're looking at a team that is flawed, but still good. It has a chance to go far and a chance to still, in a way, not even make the tournament. And we keep being reminded that almost every game. That's my opening monologue.
I think we could win the tournament. I'm whatever. That's not the important part here.
The SEC tournament or the NCAA tournament?
The NCAA tournament.
I mean, hell, if they go on a heater, sure.
I think we're talented enough to beat anybody, you know? It's just, but like, also we can lose to anyone. Yeah.
That's what I mean. I'm saying it's not likely.
We're gonna have to put it together. It's extremely unlikely. Yeah. This reminded me of the Ole Miss game. Mm-hmm. You know, we beat Florida. We beat Kentucky. We had everyone healthy. I know that wasn't exactly the same team as now, but we just came out and looked, like you said, disinterested. Like, and that feels harsh, right? Like, it's like, I don't want to insinuate that these players like don't care. Obviously they do, but from the first 5 minutes, you can just tell that like, oh, no shots are falling. The closeout defense isn't quite there. It's just one of those. It's just another one of those nights, man.
I think they're human in the sense that after they whooped Mississippi State, they knew that they basically have done enough. And it's not to say they didn't come in and like give up, but it was more that this team is playing with an edge for the past 3 to 4 games that did not seem to exist today. I think the greatest example is multiple times T.O. Barrett had little tiny Forsyth on him. And I'm like, T.O. in the previous 4 games would have drove on that guy's ass into the ground. And he wouldn't do it. And then when he did drive, he didn't seem to know what to do. And it's funny is that Oklahoma kind of floundered Missouri earlier this year too. Only in that game, Stone scored 20 points. And 2 miraculous shots helped us win that game. But I don't know what it is about Oklahoma. I don't know what it is about their players or the lineup or Porter Moser and his coaching decisions, but he seems to have a way that he plays that really frustrates this team.
Here, this is, like basically what you just said from at Mizzou Hard. They looked like a team that accepted that they were already in the tournament and had nothing else left to prove.
But here's the thing. If they end up going and beating Arkansas, I'm fine with this loss. If this is 100%. The loss, if this is the loss they needed to be kind of reminded, hey, you knuckleheads, keep your head in the game, then yes, fine, eat it. Like, but it sucks that they lost this one because they had this chance. You know, everyone's talking about double bye in the tourney. Maybe win the tourney, you go in the NCAA tournament. Now you're a 7 seed. It's like it's classic getting cart before the horse. Cart is way beyond the horse at this point.
I never put any stock into any of those. All the people talking about, we could be we're tied for the 4 seed and we could get a double bye and all that. Those people are not real Mizzou fans. I know Mike, I think, had a I don't know.
Mike, you text us and say you dug into the stats. You feel like this is an average team, and you're ready to bet the farm that we're going to lose in the first round. Mike, spin it up. What do you got?
I want to let him cook.
Yes, that I think we have all accepted the fact that this is just an average team.
I would say above average. I would say above average with the ability to play really well multiple games in a row.
Very high ceiling. Yeah.
I don't beat the teams we've beaten this season. I'm just saying that. Like, an average team does not get as many high quality wins as we have gotten. What makes them above average is that they've gotten those wins, but still are dropping Ole Miss, LSU, Georgia at home, painful losses, but like they're winning some really difficult games.
All right, I'm going to mute myself and let Mike finish his rant.
I'm done interrupting Mike. I just had to make that point. And Mike's gone.
Yeah. I accidentally muted you for half a second. All right, I'm going to mute myself here and let Mike finish his rant.
He's writing something on the whiteboard.
Okay, yeah. No, he's drawing up plays.
There's too much. Yeah, well, we could have used some tonight. Oklahoma's whole game plan, they got torched in the paint last game. Even the announcer who, I can't remember his name, he said the McDonald's guy was fucking brutal to listen to. But anywho, they gave up like 40 points in the paint last game. Barrett, Phillips, obsolete in the paint. Mitchell, virtually obsolete in the paint as well. So forces us to create points elsewhere, which we're not a good enough shooting team to just hang our hat on, okay, we're just going to beat this team from the perimeter. And that kind of showed. If I and Julian, you're going to jump my bones about this, we have to play 5 guys. It's just the rules. We have to. But there are moments where Stone, Cruz, and even Burns to some regard, even though Burns has made tremendous strides, have no business being out there. Cruz in his 12 minutes that he got today with 1 point. I get you have to play him. 3 points, sorry. Fuck. He gets a fly back from Norman. Congratulations.
And Burns has made long.
I don't know if Mizzou Airlines has a kid fly free. Hopefully Tiger Airways lets kids fly free or a bag fry. But anywho, I get that these guys have to play to eat minutes because you can't just start 5 guys. But then I was thinking today, we beat the dead horse. This horse is long gone. He is like barely hanging on. Like he is waiting for that last shovel to the dome. But I will beat it one more time. Bad. Just a lot of swings and misses on our roster construction. If you're going to play 8 guys, any of those 8 guys have to be able to score or add some contribution to defense. If you look at Barrett has slightly increased on defense, and he's a bulldog out there. But overall, him, Stone, Cruz don't stop a lot of points. They're not going to.
Did you say Barrett or Burns? Did you mean Burns?
Barrett.
Barrett.
Yeah, he's hovering. Yeah, he's just above 0. So like he is, over 100 possessions. He will save Mizzou a couple points.
So do you feel like the word that he's a great defender is propaganda? You feel like that's not true?
No, because I think he has the same physicality that Ann has, but he has a better build to actually get in there and bang with you. But I don't think he is as prolific. I don't know if maybe Ann just seems to see the ball really well and get a lot of good rebounds. Like he follows the ball and gets a.
Because
we're pivoting.
This is when I feel like the analytics are wrong. My eyes say that T.O. Barrett's a good defender.
And also, who Mike? Sorry to just like
I think
we're gonna attack your points here, but like what? Who else on the roster do you think? Like our guys did not hit their shots tonight. Like early on in the game, we missed threes, and
because Oklahoma made the right bet. Oklahoma said we'd rather them beat us from 3-point line So we're gonna pack the paint insanely, and it
Yeah.
worked because no one could hit a shot in the.
We
first
had one
half.
of those nights where we just were ice cold
So what
from
I'm
beyond
and
the arc.
yes. So moving forward, when there's a field of 68 teams and then 64 come that Thursday, what do you think any team is going to do against us?
Pack the paint.
They're going to tilt the court. They're going to tilt the court to the right. They're going to force Mitchell to play on his offhand, and they're going to pack that perimeter.
And we might score
I will
100
let
points. But we might
Curtis,
score
you're
50.
muted.
No, you're
No,
not.
I'm
might.
not. Yeah.
I heard Curtis.
Yeah. I'm saying we
There's-
might
there's a
score
bit of-
100
there's a,
points, but we
bit
might
of a
make our
lag from it.
threes and we might not. Like but it's not that like, oh, we were hoping that Mac was going to be a 3-point shooter and that it's like I understand in terms of like
No, but
the construction itself, but not that like the players that we added were, it's like even if all like maybe Porter would be another 3-point option, but I just meant in terms of like the guys that we did add. I don't necessarily think it was a miss. I think it's just man.
But also, every team's been playing pack the paint style. I feel like in other games, Mizzou's been more creative about still getting paint touches. Like, it felt like today they were unwilling to put the ball where the bigs could get it. There are very few passes
I don't think we
to
ran.
Phillips. You go for it, Mike.
Yes. I don't think we ran one set any sort of high-low, which
It's
we've
so
been
weird.
very successful with
Mhm.
all no, I don't want to say all year, but I would say the past month and a half. So that's where, and I was on the phone with my brother today, and I gave Gates a lot of flowers. Like, I have retracted some of my negativity, as some would say. But this is the type of game where within the first 8 minutes of the game, it was like, we're fucked. And because you could just tell that we couldn't get anything. And I get that you live and die by the shots you make, obviously, but I don't know. This just screamed like, man, are we gonna lay a fucking egg in the first round, or
We might.
on the range of the bell curve? Like, we are literally a bell curve team where we have seen the absolute worst, and we have seen some really good basketball. But I feel like it always just comes back to the middle of like, we're just an average team.
I
And
feel
any
sorry, mate.
no, go ahead. I've talked enough. I don't know. This game I think was just more frustrating because you had Joe Lenardi and all these other, slapdick ESPN people who were like, man, Mizzou's hot. We get a little fire emoji next to us, and then you come out and the first 8 minutes and you're like, I may as well have gone to the local YMCA and watched 5 kids try to play. That's
Mizzou though. That's what Julian was getting at.
Yeah. Like on Power Mizzou, they do a thing where after every major like set of games, they'll say, "How's the bubble look?" And for the past like 4 sets of games that have been happening, most bubble teams lose bad. have been losing important games, and so it's like, I bet their fan base also like, how are you coming out like this? And so to me, if it won, I'm not going to judge this team or Gates or whatever based on this one game. Bad games happen, and the overall season has been a success. We'll see how it ends, right? That's going to really be the judgment of how the season goes. But it really felt like they wanted to run some stuff. Oklahoma came out and packed the paint. They got open shots, they missed it. And there's a decision of, do we force it inside or do we take the shots they're giving us? When they start forcing inside, guys just got stripped. T.O. was turning it over more than I've seen him since he started. Mitchell couldn't handle the ball inside. They were scared, and then they got spooked, so they were scared to pass it to Phillips. They were scared to pass it to Burns, who often had their men on positions to receive the ball and do something with it, but they were scared to give it to them. And it's like,
everyone
the guys
was
got
scared
spooked.
to pass
And you
the
could
ball
argue
anywhere.
that's coaching, but I also think Oklahoma is a uniquely built team where they have the athleticism to play as big inside and to pack. and then also got back on shooters. I think a lot of teams in the field of 64, even if they pack the paint, and Mizzou has shown this against other teams that try to pack the paint, they don't have enough size to do it. That they'll still figure out a way to get Phillips the ball, or Mitchell a driving lane, or T.O. a driving lane, and they'll still score inside. So like, I'm not afraid that teams are going to try to do that, because every team has been doing that since SEC play started. That has been the thing you run against Mizzou, and some teams run it better than others. I think heavily dependent on the personnel and also how the guys do that game. They didn't do well today.
Yeah.
And that's that. I mean, we could go through individual players. I think everyone had a bad game. I can't think of
It
one
was just
guy.
ugly.
I can't think of one guy in a bad game, or a good game.
Yeah. Well, again, Mark Mitchell did not miss a shot from the field, and I still don't think he had a particularly good game.
He kept
That's the
getting
crazy.
stripped.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, he made awful passes. He got stripped. He couldn't hit his free throws. Phillips didn't even get a chance to score. And the couple times they finally gave him the ball, he was posting up way away from the basket, got stripped.
Maybe the worst game we've seen from Stone.
Burns got one chance to shoot, and that was also indicative. Game starts, no aggressiveness. T.O. has guys he should be able to drive on. Once again, I can't believe him and Ant didn't abuse foresight. Like that's the guy you have to abuse when he's out there. Nothing on him. But Stone, I think, shot 4 times in a row at the beginning of the game, all misses.
Ant might have had
Ant
might have had our best game, and he fouled out.
Yep.
Both of our point guards fouled out. You know how insanely hard that is to do.
But like, what a success for Oklahoma that they found a guy who's been cold and they got him to shoot 4 times in a row. And like, Jane Stone should not be shooting 14 times.
No.
He shouldn't. But also, T.O. didn't look like he wanted to play tonight until the end, where he was trying really hard, but then he fouled 5 times in a row, was out of the game.
And we needed threes. We needed attempts from 3. And Mike, I promise we needed attempts from 3. Stone 1 for 7. Pierce 3 for 7. That's actually not terrible, but combined Pierce and Stone, I mean, that's just not gonna. Oh man, that's like a 4 for 14 from them, because there were some open looks there. It's not like they were chucking it up. We need him to make more than that.
Yeah,
and that's it.
I mean, like, this is happening elsewhere. Alabama lost by 10 to Georgia. Texas A&M beat Kentucky.
I think
Florida
it's the
was
fact
down
that
Mississippi State
we
is
did.
winning by
I think
30
it's the
now.
fact that we did not, like, there was almost no point tonight after it was 9-8. I don't think there was a single point in tonight's game where it really looked like we had any sort of chance. Mike, you were about to say something. Man, his lag.
Yeah, Stone's first. Yeah, I feel like the first like half dozen Stone shots were very meh, and then Cruz comes in, gets his first 2 shots blocked, and then misses that 3, and then part of me was like, well, that ship sailed. And I'm an overreactor in some regards, but I know basketball well enough and watch enough of it that I can just get the feel that that's not it. Maybe I just don't. I think I just don't like relying on the like 20% range of outcomes that we're all going to be on, and then we're going to play really well.
But we've also had games where 2 guys have been on. We've had games when only T.O. and Mitchell were hitting shots and we've won against good teams. And like, but the problem is no one was on today. You could argue maybe Mitchell, but there's plenty of things he didn't do right today.
Mitchell's fine.
But like, he played well enough. He got 17 points. He made all his shots. But like, this was like Ole Miss, where it was like no one was doing anything. Yeah, no one was doing anything but Mitchell. This was like LSU, where no one was doing anything but Mitchell. And so you need one more guy. And we didn't have one more guy who was doing it.
We just don't have. We have more assistant coaches on the bench than we do active players that are going to contribute at any given time.
Yeah, Julian, look behind you.
I fear she has closed the door on mommy in the bedroom.
Yeah. We've got mini Julian entering, potentially trying to enter the chat. She is running away in case we lose Julian. Mike, keep going. Sorry. We'll
I think
it down.
Also
there she goes.
Some of it is also just like how our offense is so limited when I love picking on Cruz, so I'll pick on Cruz. Like if you watched his 12 minutes when his possessions on offense, and I paused and rewatched these multiple times, he literally runs every time just straight to the corner. And then he'll go under the basket. Maybe there's like a little crisscross pick under low or underneath the basket, and then he'll pop out. And that's it.
Yeah, but I mean,
And
And then you know what's going to happen.
That's what he's supposed to
That's
do.
his role, isn't it?
Yeah,
He's supposed
that's what
to
I'm saying. Yeah.
hold a defender. For
Yes,
driving
but that's
lane.
just incredibly limiting though for an offense. If that's the only way he's going to score. He will never dribble, drive, and take someone off the dribble to score.
He tried. He got blocked.
Yeah.
He's just too slow. Like D2 or low level D1, he'll cook, but not in a high class power 5. But then even to that component, you watch those same sets with when Mitchell's out there with him. The defense knows, let Cruz go to the corner, let him go under the basket for a pick. Mitchell's going to come up top, and then just tilt the defense. Just let him drive right. He's going to do 4 or 3 really hard dribbles right. He's going to spin. He ran into walls today, and then he dishes it right back out up top, and then that's it. Or that was the set. It's done.
It appears Julian's child
And-
is doing the Jacob Cruz now, just running to the corner and then sprinting down low and then running back to the corner.
This is the recent game she plays in at bedtime now, where she will purposely we read 3 books and she goes to bed, and Alyssa is currently reading out loud. She just runs back and forth while she's reading the book.
It's
And
Jacob
she runs
Cruz.
she runs down to in the living room, hops on the couch, and runs all the way back to the bedroom. Just does that over and over again. Getting down the last bit of energy.
It's going nuts. No, Mike, I mean, you're correct in that, like, yeah, Jacob Cruz is not the most dynamic player, right? He doesn't have a ton of ways to beat you, but to what Julian was saying, we've seen in the last 5-6 games his minutes drop off, and it's because Gates is trying to use him for what he does. You know what I mean? Like they know what he can do, and it's not a heck of a lot. We love him, but it's not, or I love him. It's not a heck of a lot. It's not very dynamic. All right, sorry. Mini Julian is entering the chat here, but yeah. All right, let's can we get Margot's thoughts?
Margot, what did you think of the basketball game today?
I like the book before.
Okay.
Yes.
All right, go back to mama. She said, I think she said something about reading a book.
That's what I thought. I don't know. I heard
And
something about Jacob Cruz being worthless. That's how I talk.
Yeah, I'll end my thing with it. It's just very obvious that I don't know where these 800 threes were coming from. I don't know.
Back to the
We're still here.
Nope. Seriously, when you think of that and break that down on a game average, we would need to be shooting sometimes 10, 15 more threes a game. And I'm not so concerned about the players. The players are who the players are, but mainly the just coaching staff as a whole and what they were seeing or what their vision was as a team. And unfortunately, it's just not coming.
Yeah, I think we
fruition.
thought that Cruz would be more efficient shooting the 3 in general during conference play. We thought that we would have Stone healthy all year. We thought that we would have Pierce healthy all year. We thought that we would have Porter healthy all year, right? Like those are key components to that whole 800 threes concept, right? And we just it hasn't happened. Okay, so part of it's injuries. Part of it is that we haven't had guys making as many threes. The guys that we know are actually capable of doing it. Part of it's that we've just had way too many off nights. And then Porter not even being a factor whatsoever, mostly due to injury, hasn't helped. But we've got the guys that we've got, and the guys that we do have, it's dude, Mark Mitchell made his only 3, but then we've got Jaden Stone going 1 for 7. And there were a couple, desperation heaves. But in general, he's a good 3-point shooter, or at the very least, an average to above average 3-point shooter. 1 for 7. Trent Pierce, 3 for 7 again. It wasn't bad, but it felt like all of those were in that garbage time where we got down by 20, and then we started hitting our shots. Like, until I would love to see the box score with 9 minutes to go. Because I think we might have only hit like 2, maybe 3 threes in the game at that point. It was just ugly.
Yeah,
it was an ugly game.
Less than 5 for sure.
It would have been absolutely
To
4
put it
at
in
most.
to get to 800 threes in the regular season, Mizzou needs to shoot 176 threes against Arkansas on Saturday.
And you know what? I say we go for it. All right. But look, okay, it is what it is. We've made fun of that thing all year. Again, I think there's a million reasons for it.
Can I say why it honestly happened? I think Gates, similar to what it seems like Drinkwitz went through his like 3rd year, where he had a way he thought he needed a coach, and then he realized I gotta like make some adjustments. I think this happened here too. I think he kind of came into this year with a goal in mind, and then he went, "Nah, this isn't this team." And then they built an offensive game plan around what works for this team, and it's been successful.
A good thing, though.
I think it's a good thing. Like, you remember how they talk so much about their offense was this freewheeling space, everyone makes decisions. It's like, no, actually they run plays almost every time down the floor, or they have a set package that they're supposed to be running constantly, and that has worked because it fits the personnel, which I think is a huge growth with him, huge growth as a coach from him. But that doesn't mean it's going to work perfectly every game. And that's why I think you haven't heard him mention the 3-point thing anymore. In fact, they often talk about how he has said to them, stop shooting threes. I need you guys to get into the lane, because they know what their team's strength is.
King Julian, if you will. Penguins of Madagascar, all of that. I have two things that I want to bring up, and I'll let you dictate how much time we spend on these before we depart tonight. One, I had a question of, and to Mike too, but I'm going to let you dictate how much time we spend on stuff. Oklahoma shot 12 of 22 from 3 tonight. We've seen this before. It's a very, very common narrative online when people get angry that we leave shooters wide open. We let teams get wide open threes against us. How much of this do you think was defensively for us? Oh, geez. Mike can't even take it anymore. He just left the chat. How much of this do you think was defensively? We've talked ad nauseum about offensively for the Tigers tonight. Defensively, how much do you think it was our fault versus Oklahoma just had a good shooting night? Because there were a couple times where it was like guys were just hitting step back threes and they were just rolling in, and I think it's a mixed bag. I think it's I don't want to. Oh, geez. So that was point number one of how much of our defensive woes and Oklahoma shooting so well from 3 is our fault. And then I also did want to touch on just briefly the NCAA tournament situation and just kind of
I think
give the viewers listeners
this was a really bad defensive performance by Mizzou.
Okay.
I think one thing that was great to see these past 4 games is that Missouri's defense looked really locked in. Looked like they were really following their assignment. They knew what they're doing. Today, it looked like the defense just wasn't there. And defense is such a mental effort thing. Like, you have to know the scouting report. You have to stay locked in. You have to be paying attention even when the ball and the person you're guarding isn't, or if you're doing like a zone where your assignment is on the zone. I just don't think they had it tonight. I think their defense played really bad. So that's part of the reason why shooters are left open. I think also they played the 3-point percentage number that they like to play. Sometimes that works really well. Against Texas A&M, worked great. Second half, Texas A&M couldn't hit a 3.
It's what that was my argument against Oklahoma people is, hey, we do this to people. Yeah.
Oklahoma hit 55%. That's not what they shoot usually. Now you could argue maybe they left too many good 3-point shooters open. Some guys just hit.
A couple of times, sure. Okay, and then a couple of times they just made shots.
And other times, like especially
you let
the end
people
of the
get
game,
confidence, and
when Missouri's trying to get back in, multiple times guys just drove. Defense was good. They just hit shots.
Yeah.
And the problem is you can't put yourselves in a situation where you're praying that guys are missing to get back in the game. Like, that's
Yeah.
on Mizzou for making it to the point that they needed that. At
Exactly.
one point, Mizzou hit 7 shots in a row, and they'd only got 5 points closer.
We were getting
Mike's
some,
dog
and
is-
yeah, I know. Yeah, Mike's giant poodle is yeah, it's best in show
It has
over
been a
here. This is
podcast.
Rhapsody in White. Yeah,
Come
no,
on,
it was
fuck it.
yeah,
Come on.
but no, there were a few too many times where we let them either get a wide open kick out three, which again, just play the percentages. I'm fine with that. The worst part for me was there were way too many times with 10 on the shot clock where we were selling out for three and then gave them a wide open two-handed dunk. And we were also uncharacteristically turning the ball over offensively, just looked super uncomfortable. So I think it's one of those things where they say, like defense leads to offense. It was the opposite for us. It's our bad offense was leading to seemingly bad defense for us. Or you could say the opposite. Oklahoma's good defense was leading to offense for them. But it was kind of ugly. I just but I mean, yeah, them shooting 12 for 22 from three. I just wanted to touch on how much of that was really our fault. I mean, I think they got hot. I think we let them start feeling it. It was senior night. You could tell even in an empty arena there. In Norman,
That was
those
very
guys were, but
surprising.
those guys were feeling it though, and I think that they kind of fed on that energy, and I think that was definitely part of it. And then do we want to give the before we depart, we want to give the people a update on kind of the tournament situation, what this means for us? Probably nothing. That might be the
I don't know. There's chatter about I don't think we go back to a bubble, but I see no way a 9, even if we blow the doors off of Arkansas.
we're back to 10 /
10,
play-in.
11, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think we go dip back to like the playing for the 11. I would say our I don't do bracketology, but I would guess that our worst case would be just the raw 11, and then I think we land at 10. Would be my guess.
Yeah. We're probably going to end up playing an extra SEC tournament game from,
Yeah,
what the idea. We're definitely not getting the double bye now. So
no,
be nice to win one. But
Yeah, I don't-
Julian, any thoughts?
No.
Tis what
Let's
it is.
see what happens against Arkansas. Like, I don't want to make. I literally don't want to get any predictions or any thoughts until we see this Arkansas game.
Yeah. I'm just assuming, like, even if we lose that, but yeah, at the end of the day, hey, come back out, beat Arkansas, and if you told me that we'd beat Tennessee and Mississippi State, and then we'd split Arkansas and Oklahoma, I would have absolutely taken 3 out of 4 of those last. You said it on the pod 2 weeks ago of go 1-1 each week to finish the year.
Yep.
If we beat Arkansas, then we're better than that. And even if we don't, we still did essentially 1-1 by going 2-2 overall. So
Beat Arkansas, we'll all feel great. Lose to Arkansas, I'd like to win 1 or 2 in the tournament, just to feel good.
He did not actually register a minute, but I do have to mention, because we've abandoned we're busy now that conference play started. We're doing the recaps and whatnot, so we don't do the best name on the other team. Reed Lovelace.
Also, it's funny.
Reed Lovelace. Come on.
The 2 things I want to mention before we hop off. One,
Please, yeah.
when T.O. fouled out, I went, wow, we're gonna get Sebastian Mack minutes. And Gates went, nope, I'm putting in Cruz.
We fouled out both point guards, and Mac didn't get in the game.
He just said, I'm putting in Cruz. That's so funny. That's so funny to me.
What did he do? Did he sleep with someone's wife? Like,
it's so funny to me that it's like, this is the time to put him in, see what happens. And he's like, no, he's done. He's shut down for the year. That boy's not seen the court again. 2, the second time we've had Rodney Terry on the call, former Texas basketball coach. And every time I hear him on the call, 1, I'm like, how'd this man become a head coach of a major basketball university? 2, can you imagine that man yelling at you in the huddle?
Well,
Can you imagine how unserious his players took him? Are
He's
you
like-
listening to me?
He's got it's the Avery Johnson.
Also,
vibe.
how casually wrong he was constantly. He's like, Mark Mitchell's a good free throw shooter. Well, it says 67%. He's 3 of 6 from the line.
I have no words. I get it. This is ESPN. This is late stage capitalism. It's whatever you want to call it. Look, this is downsizing. This is like, hey, when you have just like local guys that don't really have anything better to do, they're not actually professionals. They're not willing to fly people like, people that follow college basketball as a whole out to call these games. Like, anyway, it's not political. It's just like, bro, like we get some dudes. Like, I think we're lucky that our local crew is very, very, very
Good.
astute and pays attention nationally. Not just the SEC, the whole entire country. But boy, when you get your occasional midweek game and wherever it may be, tonight it was Norman. Wow.
I guess the roster to get people to go to Norman, Oklahoma in the middle of the week at the end of the winter was pretty low, so they had to call Floyd Weatherton. And it's a Family Guy reference. He sounds exactly like him. But
I got it, me and 2 other people, all right?
Congratulations.
Yeah. That's normally a reference I'd make.
I just had to fill it in, and I was going to say something. Probably wasn't important. I think I had 6 more points to make.
I gotta.
Yeah.
I
Well, that's more than
I
T.O.
got-
Barrett had tonight, so.
Oh,
I got nothing
it was.
else.
I actually didn't mind Stone running the point.
Yeah. I mean, in what way? You mean like in desperation time, or you mean like that it looked fairly efficient? Like
I just liked the way it looked. Like
I
maybe
was
it's the way-
I was actually okay with it. I think it was
yeah,
we were
I
talking
didn't
about
hate
like,
it.
wow, Sebastian Mack. I mean, he might as well just leave town now, because clearly if he's not getting in this circumstance, then there is no circumstance in which he does get in.
No.
But I am kind of on board with that, and that I think this
It didn't
was
look bad.
an excuse to maybe try something super unique that we
like
never
the-
would have an excuse to do otherwise.
It's true 3. Yeah. I mean, true. I guess our true 3 shooters on court. Mac will be playing at Wofford or Samford or something like that next year, and we'll go off for like 18 points a game with 6 assists.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
That'll
All right, Julian. Yeah. Send us off, buddy.
Yeah. Curtis and I will do the Breaking
Hey.
Bad episode after you leave.
What can I say? MIZ. We'll see what happens against Arkansas.
ZOU. We're going to the tournament.